In a sudden announcement last week, Metro Media, that's the company that distributes more than 20 local publications in Montreal and Quebec City, said it was shutting down all those publications, and it pointed a finger, I think pretty clearly, at the City of Montreal over its decision to eliminate the Publisac, which was, of course, its main source of distribution. Jean-Hugues Roy is a journalism professor at UQAM who's quoted as saying the decision by Metro Media is both sad but expected. Jean-Hugues Roy is on the line right now. Mr. Roy, thanks for being with us today. So I get the sad part. Everyone does not want to see anyone lose jobs or, basically have these papers, some of which are over 100 years old, disappear. But why do you say it was expected?
Because there was a Court of Appeal decision in early July that confirmed the right of cities to forbid distribution of the Publisac on their territory. It was not the City of Montreal that was involved in that case. It was the City of Mirabel, but it more or less confirmed that the City of Montreal had the right to forbid the distribution of the Publisac. So it pretty much sealed the fate of all the community weeklies that people get through their Publisac on the island of Montreal. The loss of revenue was already being felt by Metro between April and May. They lost their revenue. Their advertising revenue was cut in three. Okay. From one month to another. So, the situation was really, really dire. The financial situation was really problematic, and they had no choice but to suspend publication. There's something else also happened. They had some arrangements with some financial institutions, but the new people were handling their dossiers. There's something really special that happened to Metro. Their dossier was handled by someone else who didn't understand and didn't want to help them. And I mean, the people at Metro had no choice but to suspend publication. People at Metro will receive a paycheck this week, but that they could not be sure that they could pay them after that.
Yeah, it's interesting. One of the statements by Andrew Mullet, and I don't know if you've had a chance to speak to him or not, he said they had the necessary liquidity to continue operations despite a healthy balance sheet. So how do you square that?
There's a lot of public money going into media right now. Metro Media just as other print publication or traditionally printed publications like the Gazette, Le Devoir, and so on. They receive tax credits to pay their journalists. And in Quebec, we're lucky. We not only do we have federal tax credits, we also have provincial tax credits. So these for Metro, it's about $1.6 to $1.8 million that they in expenses that they don't have to incur. But that money comes in only once a year. So this also explains their decision. They didn't, for the current year, I don't remember at what date, but they don't have their tax credits yet. This is also what explains what happened, their decision, like last Friday's decision.
So I mentioned just a moment ago as well, and I said very clearly a finger pointing at Montreal. I know you said the decision came from Mirabel, but of course Montreal followed suit. That opened the door for them to do the same thing. Does the city take some blame? And by the way, is there maybe something to be taken from the fact that one of the comments is, or who knows, maybe this is just temporary, but the city will have to help. Is that likely to happen?
Yeah, the city already helped many community papers last fall. They gave each paper $85,000 to help them go through the disappearance of the Publisac. So Metro, with 15 papers on the island, had a lot of that money. Could the city do more? I mean, maybe if local information is important, and also in the current context where Meta, which is a source of information, a source of news for many Canadians, is in the process of cutting its the news on its platforms. Maybe the public public institutions should do a little bit more.
So, the Meta situation is obviously something that's been talked about a lot with respect to mainstream media. Does it affect this kind of like hyper-local media as well?
Yeah, I think yes, because Facebook is perfect to know what's going on around us, and in many circles, our close friends, then our community, our neighborhood, then our city, then our province, our country, the world, But now Facebook will only inform us on what our friends are doing. All the other circles will be gone, basically. So the one of those circles is what's going on in our neighborhood, in our community. So mainstream, a radio like CJED is perfect for what's going on in our city. Sometimes in my neighborhood, but a lot of news, a lot of things that go on in my neighborhood are not newsworthy enough for CJED or Le Devoir. So they're important, and I think they should be supported by the city.
Yeah, to your point, by the way, and I know we don't necessarily think of it that way, but a lot of people, and I think it's mentioned actually in the article, that a lot of people, Francophones specifically, will be hurt by the fact that they can't get this news.
A lot of Metro's community papers were in French, and many were the digital incarnation of papers that were created 110 years ago. The Messager de Verdun, for instance. I mean, the many brilliant journalists have started their careers there. So it's a big hole. So Metro, I think, should be supported. There's a glimmer of hope that they just announced a suspension of their activities. Mm-hmm. There's a little glimmer of hope that they could be reborn. And they've made their efforts. I mean, they've studied their market through a grant they got from Google News Initiative. They put out many newsletters. They've got about 100,000 subscribers to that newsletter, on which they can put some ads and bring in some digital ad revenue. So they have been inventive. They have, so they just need a little help from their community.
Listen, we wish them luck. I hope you're right. I hope this is only a temporary, because, as you said, many people, over 100,000 people, I think, across the province rely on these newspapers. Not easy to replace. Monsieur Roy, I thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for the opportunity. Bye-bye.